right now, very pleased to get back with me. And I'm going to throw him a curveball right to begin with. Ozzie Jurek. Ozzie, appreciate you taking the time. And as you well know, as everyone seems to know, we're going to have legalization of cannabis coming midweek in Canada. All of a sudden, it's going to be legal, both recreational, and then I'll ask you separately about medical in a second. Let's start with the recreational. This has big implications if you are a landlord, for example, or invest in real estate and you rent it out.
Yeah, no question. I mean, yes, we are now allowed to buy it, possess it, use it, and share 30 grams of cannabis and grow 4 plants. Hello, let me go. Let's get going, right? But as what owners and tenants may not realize, the right to use it is not unrestricted. I mean, first of all, we have smoking bylaws in starter buildings now. So if anything, maybe the smell of marijuana is a little bit more than the regular kind of a smoke, and therefore it stops me from enjoying the quietness of my suite. So all of these some issues haven't really been regulated yet, and a lot of we have 30,000 strata corporations in BC that really have to put out some rules and regulations, because even if you're just a landlord of a house or commercial facilities, you've got to state specifically you can't grow it, or you can grow it, or you can't grow it without my permission because I'm worried about mold or risk of fire or damage from high humidity and all of those things. It all has to be spelled out.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, though. I have a dear friend of mine had an illegal grow-up in a suite that he had been renting out to someone. It wasn't him. He rented it out. The damage was unbelievable. Now, it was probably more than 4 plants, but as you say, there is a risk of mold and other sort of damage in that way. And it's everybody. If you've got a rental property, if you own 1 or 100,000 of them, you've got to have something that covers this.
No question, and particularly in a strata. Like you take a new building, like in Surrey, my good friend Sharon Sethi, he builds condominiums where the hallways are pressurized. It keeps all the smells inside. So if you cook your famous German sausages in your suite and I cook curries, it stays inside. So you might have that argument, but there are thousands of buildings out there that are older that don't have pressurized hallways, and the smell does come to you. Now, the strata has to have rules to promote safety, security, welfare, and all of a sudden you're going to have arguments in the building that you should head off by making it clear what the rules are in your building.
Do we know that you can actually do that? Will the law step in, or will someone lodge a complaint with the tenancy bureau or whatever and say, well, no, he's not letting me grow 4 marijuana plants and I want to do it, or I want to smoke in the hallway or whatever? Does a landlord have free rein to actually impose rules like that?
But certainly a strata can create rules to promote safety, security, and welfare, and to prevent the unreasonable interference with the enjoyment of the units. And right now we have tons of buildings that have clearly they forbid smoking outright. Never mind marijuana, any smoking is forbidden. But can you imagine the new thing under the legislation for medical purposes?
Well,
now here, if I'm a strata, am I going to determine the right to smoke marijuana for medical purposes is now greater than a neighbor's right not to smell it? So we have some new stuff out there that we haven't really worried about yet. But I tell you, Mike, we will be worrying about it. And any startup corporation or any owner simply has to sit down and say, okay, what is it that I want to do on my property and how do I regulate it?
Well, it's great advice. I don't even really want to do hot property because this may I have problems if I buy one of these things, Ozzie. I'm going to have to put these rules in. But go ahead anyways with hot property.
Well, we got some price reductions. We have a $75,000 price reduction for a condo in the West End. We're 35% down. It cash flows nicely at $250 a month. We have a $100,000 price reduction at near City Hall, $1.8 million for a 7-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-kitchen, 3-full suites on the west side. And then a price reduction of $20,000 in Chilliwack. It's now at $199, and it's totally renovated, modern kitchen, bathroom, and so on. So we're seeing more price reductions. Hey, Mike, it's become a buyer's market, and it's not a bad thing, right? Remember, we used to complain about multiple offers. Well, now the agent has time, and owners are reasonable. So as a buyer, take a good look.
Well, all you have to do is go to Jurek.com, Jurock.com, click on the hot property button, just things that Ozzie says looks interesting. Obviously, you've got to do your due diligence on them, but yeah, it's a changing market, especially you're talking about way out in Vancouver, in the greater Vancouver area. Ozzie, go out and have a terrific weekend.
And you too. All the very best in sunny Florida.